Okay, if I could just give a 1-minute warning to call people back. Okay, so I'll just report that we did meet in closed session and we did. Oh, thank you. Just to follow up, we've now come back out of closed session and I can report that we only discussed the personal matters about identifiable individuals, including municipal or local board employees, and gave direction to staff. Okay, so with that now, it is now the opportunity for, after having heard all of the presentations from staff, it is the opportunity for me to circle back, as had been indicated earlier, if there are council members that would like to put forth any motions about any adjustments to be added to what was presented today by staff. So here is the call for any motions. So we'll start with Councillor Greig.
Thank you. And through you, Warden, I'll skip the 9 whereas clauses that I had written out here because I've already mentioned it, but I'll move that the $5,000 item of funding towards the Forest Festival be removed from the 2025 budget.
Okay, so before we can enter into discussion, I'll need a seconder. Is there a seconder? It's seconded by Councillor Eccles, so it's now on the floor for discussion. Councillor Greig, did you want to lead into an introduction? Because you were the one that moved it. I do want to call on staff for some background on where the funds have come from for that festival. So did you want to begin? Go ahead.
Sure, and I'll be brief because I already touched upon some of it, but last year it was removed from the budget as part of reducing the coyote and bounty allotments from 15,000 to 10,000, and the forest funding was removed in that same motion. I don't think that the taxpayers should be funding some initiatives through various levels and different partners in government. This is one where the Conservation Authority is supportive of, and I'm comfortable leaving it within their domain. That's hence the reasoning for asking council to remove from the budget.
Okay, thank you. So before I go for any other council comments, I'll go to staff for an explanation on how that festival is funded and our contribution. Oh, okay. We're going to go to Director Taylor.
Great. Thanks, Warden, and thank you for your questions, Councillor Greig. I've done some further research here on the funding for the Forest Festival, and I found their 2023 numbers. So 2023 was a year when the county was still funding. But at that time, they had sponsorships from Hydro One at 10,000 plus. They had Bruce Power at 5,000, Grey County at 5,000. Each of Saugeen Valley and Grey Sauble were both at 2,500, and Ontario Power Generation was also there. They had some smaller sponsors, including the Bruce Grey Woodlots Association, the Neustadt Lions Club, and Saugeen Nature, and then they had various volunteers. They do also state on their website that it's an annual 3-day event that hosts over 900 grade 7 students with over 200 secondary students acting as volunteers. And again, the nature of this event is to open students' eyes to different career paths in forestry and hydro, in species management, sustainability in that regard. So that's just a little bit of background on where they're currently funded from and the festival itself, but certainly happy to take any more questions if there are any.
Okay, thank you. And for clarification, do we know if it is currently in the budget for Bruce County? Because you mentioned they had also contributed the same.
Through you, Madam Warden. I might have misspoke there. I meant Bruce Power.
Okay, sorry, maybe I misheard. So, okay, so Bruce Power, but not Bruce County. Okay, thank you very much. So with that, it's on the floor for any further discussion. We'll go to Councillor Doberine.
Thank you, Warden Matrosovs, and through you to County Council. I need to speak to this as a as it is a tremendous opportunity to reach people at a young age about environmental impact, the impact that they have on the forests, on the fauna, on the water, on species at risk. Yes, the Gray Sabo supports it, but since the act has changed and it is now Category 3, it is not municipal levy funded unless it is opted into. I don't know how Gray Sabo has their municipal partnerships contributing, but Grey County doesn't contribute to the Conservation Authority that I'm aware of. And from what I learned by attending and walking through this remarkable 3-day event, where over in just last year, 913 students, 166 high school students facilitating the programs, 148 adult volunteers, 10 teachers, 30 activities. It is a tremendous educational opportunity. It introduces, as Mr. Taylor indicated, introduces students to possible career paths that we may ultimately benefit from in the natural heritage side of things, the environmental, the climate action. And I would like to see this remain in the budget. So that is my pitch. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And I don't see any further hands online. I don't see hands here in the chamber, so it has been moved and seconded. We've had discussion, so I will now ask then all those in favor of the motion. Okay, sorry, I just, could you just please lower your hands? I was just advised I should just make sure that everybody understands what they're voting for. So Madam Clerk, could you, we don't have the benefit of having it on the screen. I think that would be very helpful. So thank you. I'll call the vote once it's on the screen. Okay, so it is on the screen that the funding of $5,000 for the Forest Festival be removed from the 2025 budget. So we were voting for the removal of that $5,000 from the budget, that the way that it was presented today. So if everybody's read that and knows what they're voting on, then Madam Clerk will have to ask you to go back to the screen where we can see everyone voting. Okay, so based on that, then I will now call the vote. All those in favor of the motion? Okay. Okay, and can I ask for all those opposed, please? Could I ask the members online to just hold your hand if you're in opposition? Sorry, the screens keep flipping on us. In opposition, one. And then in the room, please, in opposition. Okay, so that motion is carried, 8 in favor. Thank you. Okay, are there other motions that other council members wish to present?
Just point of order, Madam Chair, eight in favor. I think there's a few
Yeah, out of
puzzled.
15. Yeah, so there were 15 votes, 8 were in favor.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So with that then, we will look for any other motions that any other council members wish to put forward. Okay, I'm not seeing any hands online. I'm not seeing any hands here. Director Spicer, do you need a few moments to circle back to what our decisions today mean? Okay, so would you like a break until 4 o'clock? Okay, so we'll take a break until 4 o'clock and then we'll hear a summary from our finance staff. Thank you very much. Okay, we've had the word from technology that we are clear to proceed. I'm going to ask all the council members to get seated again. Just before we go to Director Spicer for your summary, we are going to circle back to that last vote that we did, because the problem is upon replay and upon reviewing, some of the virtual hands went up and down, and then after the count went up. So we're going to have to, and it's no criticism of those online. We're in an unprecedented mode here where we're actually dealing with fewer in-person votes than we are with online votes. So it's almost easier to have us all online or all in the chamber. So in this particular case, just given the fact that we need to actually take some time to count and we can't see a hand go up after the count's been done, we're going to need to call the vote again for members here in the chamber as well. The same rules that we're going to ask for the hands to be raised until we've indicated that the votes have been counted. So everybody is voting in the same way, but we will have to revisit that because of the lack of clarity on when the hands went up and down. So with that, Madam Clerk, so we are voting on I'm going to ask just to make sure that there are no questions. Madam Clerk, could you please show us that motion again, just so that we understand, because we are asking to circle back. And then when we call the vote, we're going to ask that the members who are online indicate with their virtual hand, because then there's no complication about a hand going down too soon before the vote is counted, or going up too late. And yes, and for those in the chamber, you can use your real hand, but it's going to have to stay up in the air until the clerk has confirmed that the votes have been counted. Okay, so the motion that we are voting on that has been moved and seconded is that moved by moved by Councillor Gregg and seconded by Councillor Eccles, is that the $5,000 for the Forest Festival be removed? Be removed. That's what you're voting on. If you're voting in favor, you're voting for the removal. Okay, so as soon as we can get the full gallery on again. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we're all present. Everybody who is there online, everybody who's here in the chamber. Okay, so the first I'm going to call then is all those in favor. Please use your virtual hand if you are in favor, and if you're in the chamber, please hold up your hand until we can count the votes. Everybody keep your virtual hand up. Okay, everybody's put up their virtual hands, and I'm now looking around the chamber. Okay, and now I'm going to ask for, thank you. Everybody can lower your hands, your virtual and your in-person hands here in the chamber. And just to be sure we're getting this right, I'm going to ask for all those opposed. Please use your virtual hand and use your hand in the chamber. Okay, so thank you. Everybody can lower their hands, and I can confirm that the clerk and I have both witnessed that there were 9 in favor of the motion and 7 opposed to the motion. So thank you very much. I appreciate your indulgence on the fact that we are operating in probably, I don't recall in the 2 years that we've been meeting together, having more people online than we have here in the chamber. So thank you very much for that. So with that then, we continue in the summary that Director Spicer has prepared for us, and you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Warden. So I'll go back to, we started the day with the total to raise from taxation is $78,266,500. The decisions made today, there was an addition of $101,300 and there was a removal of $5,000. Those two net to an addition of $96,300. So the revised total levy is $78,362,800. After you take into account the adjustments for the increase in assessment and the impact of changes to what we anticipate will be the multi-res tax ratio, that'll be done in conjunction with the City of Owen Sound. So as a reminder, we wouldn't move forward with it if Owen Sound does not, as it wouldn't accomplish the goal. And then there's a slight tax adjustment for the difference in ratios with own sound of just under $4,200. That brings us to a levy increase of 3.33%.
Okay, a levy of 3.33%. And did anybody need a repetition of the numbers that were there? Okay, not seeing any requests for any repeated information. Okay, so then that concludes, Madam CAO, is there anything else that you wish us to cover? Okay, and Madam Clerk, is there anything else procedurally before we move on to adjournment, as we did not have any other business? Okay, Madam Clerk is just preparing a recommended motion to proceed with the bylaw. So if everybody can just hold on a moment, and then I'll ask Madam Clerk if you could please put that up on the screen so that we can all read it. Thank you. Okay, so it's recommended that the 2025 proposed budget be adopted as amended by proposing a levy increase of 3.33% after growth, and that a bylaw be brought forward to adopt the estimates of revenues and expenditures for the year 2025, requiring a total to be raised from taxation in 2025 of 78,362,800. Okay, may I ask for a mover? Moved by Councillor Body, and seconded by Councillor Dickert. Any discussion? Not seeing any hands here in the chamber, and I'm not seeing any hands online. Therefore, all those in favor? Okay, thank you. Appreciate the virtual hands. And thank you. Sorry, I didn't get a chance to look at all the chamber hands. Could I ask all those in favor? Okay, thank you. Yes, that's carried. Thank you. Okay, all right. We did not have any other business, so it would just be a motion to adjourn. It would be recommended that this committee of the whole does now adjourn at 4:09 p.m. to meet again at the call of the chair. Moved by Councillor Eccles, seconded by Councillor Patterson. All those in favor? And that motion is carried. Thank you.